Arsene, what can you tell us about the future of Patrick Vieira, which is the main issue at the moment, it seems?
Well, it's your main issue. My main issue at the moment is to prepare the team because we are not far from the start of a championship. For the rest, we want to keep all our players, and we want them, as I said, just to share the commitment we all have at the club and the vision of the game we want it to be played, and that's all I can say.
Does he want to stay with Arsenal, do you know?
I think I haven't spoken to him today or yesterday, but I had regular conversations with Patrick, and I would like to keep that secret. I think I never come out with what I say to the players, and I just can say that we want to keep the player, and we are not in a position where we want to make any money with anybody, because we have a stable financial situation.
But can I ask you, if Real did bid, say, 20 million, 30 million, could you really say no?
We could really say no.
He's really that important to you?
I look at you and I really believe what I say. Of course we could really say no.
And your own contract situation at Arsenal, what is the situation now?
My situation is clear. I am highly committed to the club. I always shown that, I think, in the past and recently as well. I have 1 year contract, that's why people speculate, but for me there's no speculation. I cannot say I will stay for 10 years if I have only 1 year contract. So I respect my contract because I'm highly committed to the cause, and I cannot ask that to the players if I'm not committed to it.
Can you tell us about Ray Parlour too? What's happening with Ray at the moment? He was linked with the move to Borough.
He was linked with the move to Borough as well, and that decision will be made very soon because Ray is in a situation where he has been offered 2 or 3 years contract, but I personally would like him to stay.
Well, meanwhile, on the pitch, Arsenal's pre-season preparations got off to a great start. They beat Barnet 10-1 at Underhill. Jose Antonio Reyes and Francis Jeffer both scored hat-tricks, while Robin van Persie got his Arsenal career off to a great start.
Arsenal were without any of their Euro 2004 players at Underhill. One of their new signings, keeper Manuel Almunia, got a shot, and Barnet took the lead through Richie Graham after just 12 minutes. But that stung the Premiership champions into action. Jose Antonio Reyes had an excellent first half, alongside new signing Robin van Persie. Reyes scored twice in just 2 minutes, before the Dutchman showed what he can do from the edge of the box to make it 3. The two combined well again for Reyes' hat-trick goal. And then the Spaniard rested after being left out of the Spanish side for Portugal, turned provider for Dennis Bergkamp. Arsene Wenger brought on Francis Jeffers in the second half, and he looked like a man with something to prove after a season-long loan at Everton. He provided a perfect box-in-the-box display with a well-taken hat-trick in just 11 minutes. Bergkamp at Arsenal for 1 more year, then showed his finesse with the dead ball before going off as part of mass substitutions. But the gulf between Conference and Premiership was further widened when Owusu Abeyi, the Dutch squad player, took Arsenal into double figures. There was still time for fan Jeremy Aves, who paid £4,000 to play against the champions, to get a run out. But a full-strength Arsenal squad, including Patrick Vieira, are now due to head off for a pre-season tour to Austria, with an almost perfect 10 already in the bag. Tony Campbell, Sky Sports.
It has revealed that Patrick Vieira will not be offered a new contract as an incentive to stay at Arsenal. Wenger remains hopeful that Vieira will stay at Highbury, but so far there's been no comment from the Vieira camp. Wenger has also revealed he wants to add up to 2 players to his Arsenal squad.
As the boss of a rival Premiership team, David O'Leary should be pleased by the thought of Patrick Vieira playing in Spain, but O'Leary is letting his heart rule his head.
Well, as an Arsenal fan, I don't want him to sell him because he's a great player, and again, I don't know what, whether it's rumour, speculation, whatever, but I just hope Arsenal keep him.
Tin's 8-year stint. O'Leary played a record 558 league games in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and is still a Gooner despite success as a manager elsewhere.
He's a fantastic player, great captain for them, and he's at a great club, and let's hope, they've got a great manager there who, if anybody has a chance of keeping Patrick Vieira, is the manager there.
That may be true, but Wenger says Vieira, who signed a 4-year contract last summer, won't be offered a new deal to make him stay. He told the London Evening Standard, "You don't normally offer a contract until a player has a year to go." Zinedine Zidane is downplaying reports that he influenced Real's interest in his French teammate. Zidane says it's not his job to recommend players, although he admits telling President Florentino Perez that Vieira is the best in the world in his position.
What they want is to add to their defensive stiffening of the team, which collapsed so badly last season, is one more player who can add hunger and defending abilities, who can close games up, who can inspire other teams other players to defend better.
Dennis Bergkamp's added his opinion to the mix. He says it would be a pity if Vieira left, as it's impossible to replace him. The stats don't necessarily back that up, however. In the last 3 years, Arsenal have won 70% of games Vieira hasn't played in. Gary Cottrell, Sky Sports. Supporters at Highbury today queuing to be among the first to wear the new strip. But what players will be wearing it? Ray Parlour, for one, won't be.
Gutted he's gone. He was my player. I loved him. Him and Adams were my dream players, and now they've both gone. It's terrible.
If Parlour's assigned to the past, how about a youngster for the future? Marseille's 20-year-old midfielder, Matteo Flamini.
Yeah, 1.5. Hopefully that's not meant to be a replacement for Vieira.
So, what about Vieira? Will he or won't he? You got Vieira on your shirt there. Have you gone for him with your new shirt?
No.
Why?
Because he might be leaving.
I'd like to say he'd stay, but as long as Real Madrid keep knocking, you never know what might happen.
Lots of talk about who's coming and who may be leaving, but I bet you can't guess who's most popular at the printers.
We'll need a goal from somewhere. They've got it, and it's Reyes. It's his first in the Premiership.
He's super for us. The first couple of months he's joined us, he had time to settle in, but now he's just getting better and better.
Because he's the best.
Who are you doing most of?
Reyes at the moment.
Anyone else?
There's a few Henri's been going through, but there's a few unbeatables, untouchables, champions 04, that kind of thing.
Anyone being brave and asking for Vieira?
There's only been about 2 that I've noticed, because in the shop they're saying do it at your own, you know, so we don't know yet.
And could this be another clue from the Arsenal club shop, available for half price in the bargain bin? Miniature Patrick Vieira's. Gary Cottrell, Sky Sports.
For footballers, news conferences are so often about fresh and exciting challenges at a different club. For a downbeat Mark Overmars, though, this one was to bring to an end a highly successful career.
De volver mi contrato totalmente a Barça.
Speaking in Spanish, the Dutchman said that he had 4 very enjoyable years at Barcelona and offered everyone at the club his best wishes. Overmars said that his persistent knee injury meant that he could no longer play at the level he wanted to. At his best, and Arsenal fans saw many destructive performances, Overmars was a menace to defenders. It was a winger whose sheer pace creating 1 in the FA Cup final on their way to the double.
Now Overmars, can he get beyond Pistoni? Mark Overmars!
2 trophyless seasons later, Overmars was on his way to Spain, the costliest player in Barcelona's star-studded history. There were some explosive moments there too, and he continued to play for Holland, finishing on 86 caps this summer in Portugal. But Overmars was the player who'd done so much so young. A European Cup winner with Ajax at just 22 years of age, and then a double triumph a few years later. Now, sadly, a former footballer at the age of just 31. Guy Havord, Sky Sports.
Arsene Wenger has told Sky Sports News that he's confident Patrick Vieira will stay at Arsenal. Vieira was a spectator at Arsenal's pre-season victory over Sturm Graz in Austria. Speaking after the 2-0 win, Wenger said there was nothing new to report on stories linking Vieira with Real Madrid. Real have denied reports they've finalised a deal for the Arsenal captain, while Vieira's agent has confirmed there's been no movement and nothing's been agreed.
Stories remain in England about Patrick Vieira and deals maybe being done and talks going ahead. Can you tell us what are the developments with Patrick?
The developments, like you said, we had a good workout today, and that's basically it. All the rest is nothing new to what you write. Even you have, I think in the last few days, is not a lot more to say, because when some news come out, Real Madrid denies, so I can't tell you what's new, because there's nothing new at all.
How disruptive has this whole thing been to your pre-season plans?
Well, must say you have a good practicing, you know, we are used to deal with that, and I don't think it's disruptive too much, because we are quite isolated from everybody, and we have a great togetherness, a great experience to deal with this kind of stories, so I don't think at the moment it's disturbing.
How and when will all these stories end?
Well, you should ask these questions to your partners. I don't know when these stories will stop, because it's I don't write them. I cannot master what's coming out in the press personally. So at the moment, I just feel that I don't know how to stop it, and I don't know how long it will last, because I cannot master it.
Having spoken with Patrick, though, over the last few days, are you more confident than ever that he will stay at Arsenal? Well,
I was always very, very confident, but I'm confident that he will stay at Arsenal, but I repeated that as well for many times, and I cannot do much more.
How's his state of mind?
Good, you know, he's focused on working hard. They are behind. The international players are much behind physically, so they work very hard, and Patrick is highly focused on his job, like he always has been. He's very professional, so I think he's like everybody else. He wants the season to start and prepares very well.
Well, on the pitch, Arsenal made it 4 wins out of 4 in their pre-season friendlies, beating Sturm Graz. Jose Reyes opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the first half. And the Premiership champions wrapped up the victory 16 minutes from time. Aladier's cross found Francis Jeffers to leave the final score 2-0.
Henry and Patrick Vieira to be fit for the start of the new Premiership season. It was feared both might miss Arsenal's first game against Everton, alongside Sol Campbell, who is definitely out.
We have many injuries at the moment from a European Championship, and I think the worst injury you have is Sol Campbell, and Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry look in 2 weeks they should be ready.
Your pre-season, of course, has been dominated by the ongoing saga of Patrick Vieira. How much has that drained you personally and been a distraction?
Well, it has been, I must say, disturbing, because we want, of course, speak about the expectation of a team and what's happening next season. And that is not, we do not want to focus on stories who are negative for the team and for the club, but we cannot master that. We have to deal with that.
Is there nothing you can do to stop it? And indeed, is there any latest news?
No, there's no news. No news at all.
And with the injuries as well?
I cannot stop it, I'm sorry.
You would if you could, I'm sure. And also as well, are you finished, do you think, in the transfer market yourself? Or perhaps will you be spending a bit more money?
We might still buy one player, but at the moment no decision has been made.
So Arsene Wenger speaking there after Arsenal's goalless draw against River Plate in the opening game of the Amsterdam tournament. Arsene Wenger fielded an inexperienced side against the Argentinian champions. Dennis Bergkamp, one of the few recognisable players in the Arsenal side.
From Eriksen to Vieira, Arsenal's captain was also in the spotlight off the pitch at the Amsterdam Arena. Vieira may be linked with a move to Spain, but Arsene Wenger claims he's more concerned with the fitness of his skipper Thierry Henry and Sol Campbell. Vieira and Arsenal's top goal scorer should be fit for the opening game of the season, and Wenger fielded 2 trialists against the Argentinian champions. One of them, Marc O'Neill, set out early intentions. Arsenal's clearest chance of the game came after half an hour, but Francis Jeffers was left frustrated. In the second half, at times, Arsenal continued to surge forward.
This is Fabregas.
Dennis Bergkamp came on as a substitute, and he nearly scored a late winner in the city where he was born. But no goals in the opening game of the Amsterdam tournament. Brian Swanson, Sky Sports.
Freddie Ljungberg's cross just missing Jose Antonio Reyes.
Well, Arsene Wenger was pleased with the workout and repeated his stance on Patrick Vieira. He's confident his skipper will be at Highbury for the start of the new campaign.
And do you breathe a little bit easier as every day passes and nothing happens with regard to Patrick Vieira? The Champions League deadline for qualifiers, like Real Madrid, is Thursday. Do you breathe easier every 24 hours?
Well, I hope Patrick will stay. That's all I can say, because he realizes as well that we have an outstanding team, and he has been a big part in creating that, and I want him to stay and to be part of that.
Is it still hope rather than certainty?
Well, I have a certainty, or the rest I don't know.
Next question.
He wasn't answering any questions about his captain's future, but Ashley Cole admits whoever makes up the Arsenal team come the start of the season have the toughest of acts to follow.
I think, to be honest, I think it was a freak thing, but I think we of course we deserve to win the league, I think, but to go unbeaten was a special event for us and a great achievement, but to be honest, I don't think we can do it again.
Do you think that Arsenal will win the Premiership again?
Yeah. I still think people can call us a great team. To go unbeaten in the season is unbelievable, and I don't think there's going to be many teams to break that record, but I think, yeah, we do need to win the league again to get, as people say, yeah, the shift of power, but we've got a good squad, and hopefully we can just keep the title to us.
Cole was speaking at a special coaching session organised for the Wealdstone under-11 team by McDonald's, the FA Community Shield partner. The England international, who passed on tips and advice to the young players, warned Arsenal fans about the threat facing his side from Chelsea and Manchester United this season.
I think them and Man U are going to be the main rivals, but Liverpool bought some good players as well, so I think it's going to be more exciting for the viewers this season, yeah.
And with the Community Shield just days away, Cole and Arsenal will get a closer look at one of those challenges. Gail Davis, Sky Sports.
All quiet at Patrick Vieira's house in London, but will this be his home for much longer? With the new season fast approaching, there's real anxiety around Highbury that their skipper is off to Real Madrid.
To lose him would be a massive blow, and I think the interest is huge. You know, I think it's been every single season. You know, at the end of the season, Real Madrid or some big club wants Patrick Vieira, and I think this year, you know, speaking to the people at the club has been a lot stronger. So you know for a fact there's a massive offer been put into the club, but I don't think they're going to accept it. I think they want more.
So you think they will hold out for more money, but do you think they can ultimately hold on to the player?
I think it's going to be difficult.
Others, though, are trying to look on the bright side.
This club will survive without Vieira. I know Vieira has been a very good player for us.
I think if he doesn't want to stay, go. Get by without him. We manage with other players going.
No man's bigger than the club, so, you know, thanks for him. If he does go, well done, Patrick.
Meanwhile, the Spanish press are convinced the move is imminent. All that's missing, they say, is the shirt.
Madrid's been looking for a guy like Vieira in midfield for a number of years, and if they finally sign him, well then they've got what they needed.
He can bring a lot of his quality to the play, especially in the midfield, where we are looking for someone to play in the position that he is.
Sources abroad suggest Arsenal are lining up Porto's Maniche as a possible replacement for Vieira. So the transfer merry-go-round turns, but this is one ride Arsene Wenger would have preferred to skip. Jim Cockin, Sky Sports.
Arsenal's international defender entertained fans with some goal scoring at the club's recent open day at Highbury. Now, though, time's running out before the big kick-off at the Millennium Stadium.
You're playing against a great team, and you can't go into the game not focused, because they'll either batter you 5-0 or something like that, or you'll get injured. So I think the lads are up for it, and we feel fit, and again we're just ticking over for the start of the season.
Arsenal proved unbeatable last season, and clearly now they're still the team to beat.
You have to go into the season thinking you can't get beat like we did last season, but again it makes it harder for us because everyone's going to try 10 times more to beat you. So we have to be on our game every game, every Saturday, every Tuesday, and there's a lot of games, so we have to be focused for a lot of time.
Look at me in the eyes and tell me, will you be champions at the end of the season?
Yeah, we will.
Confidence is high then, even with their captain in the spotlight. Patrick Vieira sat out the Amsterdam tournament through injury as speculation continues about Vieira's future.
No one really talks about it. At the end of the day, it's down to Pat what he does. Of course, he's a great mate of Van and a great player. It would be sad for him to go, but it's his decision. He's been here for 8 years and he's played really well since he's been here, and it's down to him.
As Arsene Wenger prepares for the new season, his players are desperate to kick off with a winning start in Cardiff before their opening Premiership game away at Everton. Brian Swanson, Sky Sports.
One's pleased to see the big boys back in action. Much of the community is. The Shield isn't called charity anymore, and that's good because matches between Arsenal and Manchester United are never charitable, cuddly affairs.
I couldn't say we would go on wedding together, but we know each other well, and the two teams respect each other as well, and because of big battles we had together. So it's always a good indication of how much do you want it against Man United and how much do they want it against us.
The dominance of United and Arsenal means they've contested the traditional season opener on many occasions in recent years. United won last year, Arsenal the year before, courtesy of this Gilberto debut goal.
The biggest dream for all people from Arsenal is win the Champions League, and we had bad memories from last season against Chelsea, but this year we want to do different.
So what of Chelsea? One of Manchester's more famous brothers believes today's teams will finish first and second in the Premiership.
I think if you ask Arsenal, I think they'll say if they finish above Man United that they'll win the league, and I'll say the same about them. If we finish above Arsenal, I think we'll win the league as well. And you know, they had a fantastic season last year, but I'd be very surprised if they'd be able to repeat the heights that they reached last year in terms of going through the season unbeaten.
What happens in high summer doesn't mean a thing, of course, come May, but both teams know the importance of one-upmanship.
Up the Gunners!
Gary Cottrell, Sky Sports.
Well, he might actually not want Arsenal to win, because history shows that whoever wins the Shield is unlikely to go on and win the Premiership. That was certainly the case last season when Manchester United beat Arsenal in a penalty shootout, but Arsene Wenger's side went on to win the league.
The previous season it was the other way round when Gilberto scored his first goal for Arsenal in a 1-0 win over Liverpool, but Manchester United secured the Premiership title.
In 2001, Liverpool added the Community Shield to their UEFA, FA and League Cup victories by beating Manchester United, but it was Arsenal who triumphed in the Premiership that season by clinching the double.
4 years ago, Chelsea beat Manchester United to win the Shield at Wembley, but Sir Alex Ferguson's side had the last laugh by winning the Premiership later that season.
In 1999, Ray Parlour's winner ensured Arsenal came from behind to beat Manchester United in the Shield, but United went on to win the league.
Exactly the same scenario took place the previous year. Nicolas Anelka sealed a 3-0 win for the Gunners, but it was United's season. They went on to win the treble.
But it was the opposite in '97. Man U winning the Shield by beating Chelsea in a penalty shootout, but Arsenal secured the league and cup double.
And in fact, you have to go back to 1996 to find the last time the same team won both the Shield and the Premiership. Manchester United beat Newcastle 4-0 at Wembley before going on to clinch the league title.
Well, the bookmakers think Arsenal are more likely to win. They've got them as 6-4 favourites to win this afternoon. Remember, these are 90-minute prices. Manchester United are 9-4 to win inside 90 minutes. And the draw, which it was last year between these two sides, it was 1-1. That's a 9-4 chance. Who'll get the first goal? Well, Thierry Henry has a minor Achilles knock. If he does play, he's the 9-2 favourite to open the scoring. You'll get your money back if he doesn't feature. Jose Antonio Reyes is a 7-1 chance with Louis Saha, the birthday boy. He's 26 today. He's 15-2. Next man is Dennis Bergkamp at 9s. And Paul Scholes, who's retired from international football, is bound to be popular at 10-1.
Psychological advantage, if nothing else. Football, yes, it'll come into it. It'll be fast-paced, and that's what Arsene Wenger has said, hasn't he? He said it's the closest thing you actually get to a proper Premiership game pre-season. So there'll be a lot of good football out there today. People still competing for the places next week when the Premiership finally kicks off, of course. And for Manchester United, a huge game in midweek in the Champions League. But essentially, yeah, it's a game of words and mind games, and it's started already. That doesn't surprise anybody, does it?
Well, it doesn't surprise anyone here, definitely. We're used to it for a few years now. Arsenal without Patrick Vieira, he's got a thigh problem. The controversy still continues over him though, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and there's no answer. And I think most people here, having talked to a few fans this morning, that's all they want. They just want some clarity on the situation. Is he going to go? Is he not? And does he want to go? He's not said anything at all. So much said, so much written, prices banded around. Arsene Wenger still says that he's pretty much certain he's going to stay. Most people in the game don't think he will, but no answer. And at this stage of the season, with, as I say, the Premiership breathing down their neck, what they need is clarity.
Well, Sir Alex Ferguson not happy as well. He's lost a couple of his players to Olympic duty. How much is that going to affect them?
Well, he says it's the toughest pre-season he's ever known. They went out to the States and, of course, didn't get a result. Then they had the Vodafone Cup, as we know only too well here on Sky Sports. We covered it Tuesday and Thursday. 2 warm-up games before today, the second of which, against the Red Diamonds from Japan, was called off because of a thunderstorm. Much problems with players going out to the Olympics and late injuries, etc., etc. The Rio Ferdinand band of chaos. He reckons that he won't see the real Manchester United, or at least we won't, until the back end of October. Question is, will that be too late?
Also, Mark, plenty of talented players on display, but there's always a sort of physical element to these games, isn't there?
Sorry, Kelly, could you repeat that for
I'm
a second?
saying these games are always pretty physical.
Yes, they are. I mean, last year, of course, Franny Jeffers was sent off, wasn't he? He kicked out one of the Neville brothers and got walked. It's always competitive. People say the Community Shield is finished. It doesn't count for anything these days. Ask the 65, 70,000 that have made the journey here that. And ask the players as well. They want to get on. They'll get involved. And if the likes of Roy Keane and Alan Smith are out there, you can be sure there will be 1 or 2 tackles flying in throughout the afternoon.
Mark, it certainly does count to these 2 teams involved this afternoon. Thanks very much for joining us.
No problem.
Building ahead of this afternoon's kick-off, a big game, of course, for Arsenal and Manchester United. More so, perhaps, for Manchester United, because they've got a European qualifier midweek. How important is this game?
Oh, it's a big game, this one. This is the kick-off to the season, but as long as we win, I'm not bothered.
Are you looking for some sort of progress with Wednesday in mind? You're looking to be almost 100%?
Oh, yeah, just to see how the team play, and hopefully if they come together as a squad, then as long as we get a result, I'm not bothered.
But, I mean, winning this competition means nothing, does it? If you win it, you normally don't go on to win the Premiership title.
Well, it's not always happened, but I mean, as long as we do well in Europe and, let's say, get something out of today, then I'll be happy.
But Wednesday's a big game, isn't it?
Wednesday's a big one, yeah, Bucharest. So, I mean, well, let's say, I think it'll be fingers crossed, hopefully, so, you know.
All dressed up for the big game. How do you see it going?
3-1.
Simple as that?
Yeah, easy.
That confident?
Yeah.
Easily pleased.
What about all the injuries and the people that aren't playing for United? Because the list is getting pretty long, isn't it?
Well, we'll still do it.
You think so?
Yeah,
as easy as that?
Yeah.
And what about the Premiership this year? Is that coming back to Old Trafford?
Yeah, definitely.
So your mum says 3-1, what do you say?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are United going to win?
Yeah.
Definitely. You don't seem very sure.
Definitely.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much. Let's go on and have a word with a couple. Thank you very much, guys. Hello there, sir. How's it going? All right?
Brilliant, thank you.
Confident?
What, of United winning?
Yeah.
Nah, sooner we'll lose.
Are you Arsenal? Are you an Arsenal fan?
No,
Are you a United fan?
I'm a United fan, but every time we lose, we win the championship. So
simple as that, isn't it?
Championship's better than this.
But Wednesday night's the most important game, isn't
it? Of course it is, yeah. Wednesday night and the return over at Old Trafford. I think we'll do that.
Give me a scoreline today.
Today? Be a 0-0 draw and it'll go to penalties.
An Arsenal win or United?
No, but probably United will do it on penalties, but I'd rather we didn't.
How do you see it going? A big game?
I see Smith getting 2, Saha 3, and O'Shea.
So you're Mystic Meg, are you?
Yeah. Star of the match, O'Shea.
You've given that some thought, haven't you?
Yeah. I had a dream last night. Man United 5-0.
Thanks very much. As you can see, here by the Millennium Stadium, it's a perfect science. Mystic Meg and friends are pretty confident about this one being a United win. Back to the studio.
James, thank you. Well, these are the latest scenes from Cardiff, where the Arsenal players have been arriving. There was Jens Lehmann, Jermaine Pennant, Ashley Cole on the right there, who's a doubt with a calf injury. Interesting to see if Patrick Vieira's there. He's out of the game with a thigh injury, as is Sol Campbell, and we might see Thierry Henry. We'll have team news shortly for the FA Community Shield.
That's the phrase I was looking for. I'm glad you're here.
Now the Arsenal, thanks Kelly. Now the Arsenal side, surprise up front. Look at the bottom name there, Thierry Henry, who'd been doubtful with an Achilles injury. He starts for Arsenal this afternoon. No Patrick Vieira, as expected, or Sol Campbell. Vieira's got a thigh injury, Campbell an Achilles problem. Ashley Cole, he plays despite his calf problem. So it's Lehmann in goal, Lauren, Touré, Pascal Sigon's his partner in central defence. No Senderos, he's on the bench. Jermaine Pennant starts on the right of midfield. It's Gilberto. And the youngster, the young Spaniard, the 17-year-old Fabregas starts alongside the Brazilian. Jose Antonio Reyes looks so he'll start on the left side of midfield. And then it's Thierry Henry up front with Dennis Bergkamp. And we'll have the former Arsenal legend, Kenny Sampson, in the studio with us all afternoon.
Still is an Arsenal legend, former Arsenal player.
The Arsenal legend. These are the live shots. The Arsenal never outgunned, they're saying, as we see the Millennium Stadium filling up rapidly with only 20 minutes to go to the kick-off of the 2004 FA Community Shield.
Fit. I think the physio Gary Lou must have looked at it and said, "You'll be okay. We want you to play because we need maybe that little bit of sharpness for next Sunday against Everton." So I think he must be fit. And it's nice to see him and Dennis Bergkamp. And in midfield we've got no Vieira obviously, and there's no Perez. A chance for Pennant. There was a lot of rumours that he might not play again for Arsenal after his loan at Leeds United. He might have stayed there permanently, but he's come back. This is a chance for him. I think it does give a lot of players a chance to prove that they could stay in that position.
Ashley Cole thought he might have a bit of a calf problem, but he's made it through again. Do you think it's the same kind of thing? They wouldn't play him unless he was 100%
They would definitely not
fit.
play him. I mean, there's a lot of people to say that, the Charity Shield now, it doesn't really, the Community Shield, should I say, it doesn't mean that much, but I would imagine that there will be a few tackles flying about very early.
Kenny, a chance for a real youngster in there, Fabregas. I'm surprised you know Philippe Senderos, though.
Yes, I am surprised. I mean, Seagan, I think, with Campbell being out, I think he wants to have a look at Seagan for the next possibly 6 weeks if Sol Campbell's going to be out that long, because every time Seagan gets maybe 1 or 2 games on the trot, he'll make one mistake and everyone's sort of like on his back and criticise him. He may get a run of 5 or 6 games now, and to prove himself, yes or no, is he going to be good enough? And then I think Senderos will come in.
It's too early for Senderos at the moment, though, because people at Highbury are saying this guy's a superstar.
Oh, I think he is a very, very good centre-half, there's no doubt about it. But I think he just wants to have a look at Seagan, just in case Sol Campbell gets injured later in the season, or Toure. And then I think Senderos, I think he's on the bench, I think he may come on, actually.
Well, Arsenal have been lucky with a couple of their players coming back from injury in time for this game. Manchester United, though, missing Ruud van Nistelrooy, Kleberson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I think it's about players who are not playing rather than the players that are playing. I mean, you've got Rio Ferdinand still suspended, Van Nistelrooy, of course, Solskjaer. These players can win games for you or save games for you, like Rio Ferdinand. And he's obviously September can't come around. Ronaldo as well. Heinz, a new signing.
They're both off
for
the
their
Olympics.
countries, in the Olympics. So, when the Chelsea manager looks at these two teams and the injuries that they've possibly got and the players that are not available, they must be thinking it could be a very good season for us.
As we just saw, Kenny, the teams are just about on their way out in the tunnel at the Millennium Stadium. I'm going to ask you to put your neck on the line and your neutral capacity, of course. Who's going to win it?
I think it's going to be a very, very tough match. I think it actually could come down to the best defence this afternoon. I really believe that. We obviously talk about strikers and scoring goals from midfield as well, but I think the best defence will win the match today.
Does that mean it's not going to be a particularly exciting match for the spectators?
You never know. When you've got people like Roy Keane, Alan Smith in their side, I think we're going to miss Ray Parlour. Arsenal are going to miss him. He's gone to Middlesbrough. But when you've got Smithy and Keane in the United side, they want to win. Gary Neville, possibly the game might start off very, very quiet, but you only need one player to make one tackle and it will set alight. There's no doubt.
We were having a look at some of the facts and figures a little earlier on, and it was saying that whoever wins the Community Shield, chances are they're not going to go on to win the Premiership. So how much can you actually read into the performances?
I was watching your shows, 96, and
96,
Man United won it and then won the Championship. It is a strange thing. I think they take it serious, but not too serious. I think Arsene Wenger said it is closest that you get to actually a real friendly before you actually start. And there's no better teams, is there? Arsenal, Man United have been challenging for the title and the FA Cup for so many years now, and they're real bitter rivals, and it should be an exciting game.
Do you agree, though, that it's a bigger game for Manchester United with what they've got to come this week?
I don't think so. I think they'll play on Wednesday. I think they're full side out, and I can see them going through, over the 2 legs. I think no problem that they will be in the Champions League.
Well, 15 points separated Arsenal and Manchester United at the end of last season. Do you think the gap's going to be narrower this time round?
I think it's going to be narrow, not just between the two sides we're going to watch this afternoon, but I think the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea. I think it's going to be a very close run race this year. Well, I hope it is, because it makes it a bit more exciting. Obviously, I would like to see Arsenal win it again, but I think it's going to be very, very close.
And of the sides, who do you think's done the best close season business? Obviously, Chelsea have been spending all the money.
They've been spending all the money. I think pre-season sometimes, I think it was West Ham once, they lost every single pre-season game in the old First Division, and they was top after 7 matches. So it just shows you sometimes pre-season does count. I think a lot of the time it's just getting your fitness, getting maybe a little bit of understanding with 1 or 2 players. So pre-season really, it starts today, really.
Yeah.
This game is a big game, again, especially for people like Pennant.
But some of the best pre-season business would be, I imagine you'd agree, Arsene Wenger, if he was to hold on to Patrick Vieira. Where do you stand on that at the moment?
Cool. Obviously, I'd love to see Patrick stay. I thought he was the best player for Arsenal last year. I thought he was a great captain. I think he loves the club. They're talking about wages. I see the Jimmy Hill thing this morning saying he was offered 80,000 by Real Madrid, but he wanted a little bit more. He's on something like 50,000 at Arsenal. But I'm sure most Arsenal fans, and I've spoke to a lot, they would love him to stay. But they've also said if he doesn't want to stay, we should let him go. Because Arsene Wenger's so good in the transfer market, you know, he will get a replacement, not as good, or not just yet, but we'll have a replacement in mind.
It usually takes about a year or so for them to settle in, so we'll have
It
to
does, yeah.
wait and see what happens there.
He might have to go for a little bit more experience.
OK, Kenny, thank you very much.
you.
Kenny will be joining us to look through the game, to look through the Community Shield between Arsenal and Manchester United. All the very latest coming up after the break on Sky Sports News.